Well, on this podcast, I have the great pleasure of having the co-founder and chairman of Calm. For those of you who are not aware, Calm is the leading mental health brand for sleep, meditation, and relaxation with some 190 million downloads. Michael Acton Smith, welcome to the FHS podcast.
Thank you, Jonathan. Great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here. And Michael, we met last year for the first time at the Global Wellness Summit. And I'm delighted that you're joining us at the Future Hospitality Summit in Riyadh as one of our speakers. And I'm intrigued to learn more about Calm, your collaboration with Hilton, and how you're looking to embed wellness into the guest journey. But before we do that, can you give the listeners an insight into your journey launching Calm? And what was your vision back in 2011 and the problem that you were trying to solve?
Yes, so I have always loved business and entrepreneurship and startups. I've been building companies since the late 90s when the internet was just getting going, Firebox and then Moshi Monsters. But then I burnt out. Moshi Monsters grew very, very rapidly and then it did not. And a very stressful, tricky time. And I was fried, not sleeping well, not eating well, not looking after my physical or mental health. And a very good friend of mine, Alex Chu, taught me to meditate. And initially I was a little wary and hesitant, like a lot of people. I thought it was religious or woo-woo or didn't fully understand it. But the more I researched and leaned in, and the more I realized what an extraordinary, life-changing and valuable skill it is for the modern age when we're assailed by so much information. Our attention is drawn in so many different ways. Alex and I started talking about how we could turn this into a business. Could we create Calm, the Nike of the mind? Could we create a business that was all about bringing more calm to the world? And so that was the starting point over a decade ago, and it's been a very exciting journey.
But Michael, you've launched countless businesses over the years. Some have been failures, some have been huge successes. What has been your learning during this period of these different companies you've launched? Is there a natural sort of thread through all this?
Yeah, well, my entrepreneurial journey feels a bit like a roller coaster, soaring highs and crushing lows, sometimes in the same day. But that's the life of business and entrepreneurs. And I have built many businesses, and I think if there is a thread that runs through it, I think it might be sort of creativity and playfulness. I always try and take something that is established and people are aware of, but add a little twist and have a little fun with it. And there are many brands in the world, and many brands deliver a promise, and people rely on them. And but there are a few brands that people truly love, and I think those are the brands that have that unique magic, often a playfulness. Richard Branson and Virgin is a great example, very inspired by him growing up. So I think with the three companies I've built, if I had to pick a thread, it would be a little bit of playfulness, which we have introduced to Calm. And I think it's one of the reasons why it has taken off the way it has. Meditation as a practice has been around for thousands of years. And I think we made it a little more simple, a little more relatable and accessible. We brought on board celebrities like LeBron James and Harry Styles and Matthew McConaughey. We were very playful in our PR and our comms. And I think that really resonated and is one of the reasons why people have really connected with the brand.
Interesting. I know you described a personal burnout experience back in, I think it was 2014. And that sort of transformed your relationship with meditation. How did that pivotal moment reshape your approach to business leadership and the development of Calm?
Yes, like a lot of business people, I was always stressed, running from one meeting to the next. I'd go to sleep with my phone tapping off one last email, not looking after myself, obsessing more about the business than my own physical and mental health. And I think that the burnout and the crash with Moshi Monsters really taught me the value of stepping back and calm. If we don't look after ourselves, if we don't have that perspective and care for our own health, then how can we do so for our team and our customers? So the real sort of light bulb moment was when I stepped back from the business and went away on a solo trip to Austria to a wonderful spa resort called Stangelwort. And I played tennis and I sat by the pool and I went for walks in the hills and read about meditation and mindfulness. And it was a real wake up moment. And just gave me a better sense of clarity and perspective. And so I like to think I'm a better leader now. I think calm is a superpower. And so showing up as a leader with that stability and that calm, no matter the storm and the chaos and the craziness swirling around you, I think is respected by teams and enables you to build better, more successful companies.
So you mentioned it's a superpower. So tell me what is happening when you use calm and trying to be mindful? I mean, is this a bit like going to the gym?
A little bit. It's a little bit like going to the gym, but for your mind. So when we go to the gym, we lift weights. That repetition is building up the strength in our muscles. And in some ways, meditation is a similar practice. You sit down and you focus on a constant, such as the breath. And what will happen if you're human is your mind will start wandering. And the practice is noticing that wandering and bringing your attention, your focus back to your breath. And then the mind wanders and you bring it back. And that repetition and that building of strength and awareness builds our mindfulness and is such a valuable skill then to take into everyday life. So instead of being the marionette on the strings of the puppet master of our mind, being bounced around from one thing to the next, we become the puppet master and we become in control of our mind and decide where and when and what we focus our attention on. So that's a very simplistic way of describing it, but that was the starting point. And so we developed a course called the 7 Days of Calm, which was a very simple introduction to meditation and mindfulness for our users. And then the real inflection point was launching something called the Daily Calm, which was a daily 10-minute meditation created by our teacher, Tamara Levitt, which people absolutely loved. There was a new story every day. It was different. There was a quote at the end of it, and people really lent into it and started building a habit of 10 minutes every single morning.
Yeah, I think it's good to get into that habit. And I'm sure there's a huge amount of science behind all this, but perhaps not for this podcast. But I mean, no doubt you're using it all the time as well.
Yes, I found it incredibly valuable for my life. So meditation has been a good, healthy practice that I've developed. But the next step change of calm, and in fact, the biggest part of calm now is around sleep. And one of the challenges with meditation is it's not easy to do. It's very hard for people to weave into their day and to sit still, if we're honest. But sleep is something that everybody does. 8 billion people every single night. And many people struggle with sleep, and it's such a critical pillar of our health and happiness. So, we created something called Sleep Stories several years ago, and that's been a huge hit.
And are you also telling some of the stories as well? More sleep stories?
I do. They're not as popular as Harry Styles or Matthew McConaughey, but if you search very deeply within the Calm app, you might find one or two of my stories.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So you've grown this company, amazing business from a startup. Obviously, you've had challenges, issues, as any entrepreneurial company has, as you launch a company trying to raise funding, et cetera, et cetera. But now you've managed to get it to where it is today with a huge valuation. How are you managing to stay at the top in this digital world? Because it's there's a huge amount of competition out there as well.
Yeah, it's a great question, and every business has to constantly be thinking about what's next. So for Calm, it was, meditation originally, as I said. Then we moved into sleep. Then we launched a B2B business during the pandemic where we brought Calm to workforces around the world. Um, our next move was into healthcare to try and bring mental health and calm to health systems around the world, particularly focused on the US. And that's been a very exciting, important journey. And then the next arena we're looking at is how do we take this digital brand that's very well established and bring it offline? And I love building brands. So does Alex, my co-founder. And there's so much sort of trust and passion that our users have for Calm. Can we translate that to physical products and services and experiences and possibly even hospitality? So this is an area where we're really we're intrigued about at the moment, and why I'm so interested to attend the event in Saudi Arabia and chat to you.
So really going from digital to physical.
Yeah,
And is that taking your subscribers uh, into the physical world, or is this a new clientele that you're looking at?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think, many of our existing subscribers and our fans of Calm will hopefully want to experience Calm in other ways. The phone is wonderful, but we probably shouldn't be using it all the time. So could we create everything from calm bedding, calm pillows and homewares? Could we create calm clothing? Could there be calm drinks, cafes, hotels, resorts, branded living communities? Again, inspired by Branson and Virgin, could we take this brand and apply it thoughtfully and authentically to many different categories?
So it's early days at the moment in terms of the direction that you're going to go in.
Yes, still early days. We're having a lot of conversations. We're exploring. We didn't want to run headfirst into it. There's a lot of new things we have to learn. The hospitality industry, as you well know, is very complex, and there's a lot of missteps that can be made along the way. So yeah, we're taking our time and doing our research and want to get it right.
And you've got a collaboration with Hilton at the moment as well. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have a great partnerships team at Calm, led by a gentleman called Fergal Walker. And yes, we've been chatting to Hilton for a little while. They're very forward thinking in the way they think about the guest experience. And I think they're aware of how important wellness is for travelers, how important sleep is. So we've brought part of the Calm experience into their rooms, offering Calm content through their screens. And yeah, we're hoping it'll be a long-term partnership, and there are many other ways we can deepen it through some of the future products Calm will be developing.
So that's a similar that's just looking at the topic, your topic at FHS Saudi around the corner in May. It's embedding wellness into the guest journey. So that's this whole process, isn't it, of bringing that mindfulness into the guest journey, and where does that lead to?
Yes, and so from Calm's perspective, we as we move into hospitality, not just partnering with other brands, but potentially having our own brands in collaboration with others in the future, not just about mindfulness and meditation and sleep, but how can we support people's holistic health, physical and mental, during a stay? So how can we help guests transform during their stay in a hotel or resort? So again, a lot of thoughts happening, and it's such a it seems to be, from our research, a very important part of the hospitality industry. It has been over many years. The shift to health and wellness and longevity, and we think Calm can play a role there.
And arguably, we were at the Global Wellness Summit together. Interesting, though, that there wasn't that many hotel companies participating. We have Six Senses, of course, but there seems to be a disconnect a little bit between wellness and the hospitality industry. What do you see there?
Yeah, I think you're right. Big fan of Six Senses. I think it's incredible what they've been doing, helping guests transform, beautiful design and very authentic experiences. It does feel that many hotels, though, have their hotel experience and then the spa is kind of bolted on the side, and it doesn't feel kind of entwined. I think we're going to see a lot more of this entwined experiences going forward, where much more thought is given to the communal spaces, the lobby, bringing plants and greenery and nature inside, much greater programming, not just in the gym and in the sauna, but elsewhere throughout the hotel, food and beverage as well, more focus on healthy food. So yeah, it seems like there's still a lot of opportunity there going forward.
Yes, I think there is, and maybe more so in that residential space too. So with our branded residences conference, which I know you're interested in that whole space where you've got that community that's being developed. Do you see that as a focus?
Yes, very ambitious, very complex. These are often multi-billion-dollar real estate projects. So we're definitely intrigued, and but taking our time to figure out who the best partners would be and how to approach this. But we've seen the growth of these branded living communities over the last many years, particularly around luxury brands. Many of the automobile brands have got involved, and then high-end luxury and fashion. So everyone from Mercedes to Aston Martin to Armani. But our question is, could the next wave, could the next big trend be around health and wellness and communities that are focused on longevity? Health is the ultimate wealth. And so staying in a space with like-minded people that want saunas and ice baths and a longevity clinic and bloods taken and healthy foods and everything entwined, I think will be a fascinating concept. So you'd have a resort or a hotel underpinning it as part of it, but then a real estate community around it as well. So yeah, we think that could be a really exciting model to take to multiple locations globally.
So Richard Branson has Necker Island. Can we see a Calm Island around the corner?
I've often talked about my dream of having Calm Island one day, the world's most relaxing resorts, and I've looked into it. I subscribe to an island magazine. I've visited a few over the years. It's not for the faint-hearted, building and developing on an island. There are many logistical challenges. So I think we'll get there one day, but yes, maybe not yet. And I have stayed on Necker, and I played tennis with Richard and backgammon and chess on the island and had a fantastic time. But he's built that over many, many decades, and yeah, it wasn't straightforward.
Well, we had our first reception for our event in Dubai, which was then called the Arabian Hospitality Investment Conference, AHIC, was on Greenland, one of the world islands, and it had just opened for us. So we took a couple of boats over to Greenland, although we were nearly the first shipwreck on Greenland as we came back because the captains didn't know how to maneuver away from the shifting sand. So that was all quite amusing at the time. In hindsight. But there's plenty of islands there in Dubai, so I think, and in Saudi, of course, the Russell Keemer's got some islands. So
many in the Red Sea that,
yeah.
yes. So, and I think there's obviously incredible projects going on there with Amala and all along the Red Sea coast.
Yes, well, I know you've had numerous discussions with some of these players in Saudi. So what's your view on Saudi at the moment with their approach to wellness?
Well, I think, yeah, there are many of these giga projects going on. I think, at least around a dozen, maybe slightly more. And we've chatted to a few. We're still learning, if I'm honest. And I think there's incredible ambition there. I just love the 2030 vision and everything that's going on. And obviously these massive visionary projects take time. And so, yeah, we haven't signed any deals yet. We haven't made any firm plans, but we're we're in conversation. And one of the reasons we're excited to come to your event in Riyadh to meet more people and learn more and see what's going on.
Well, you've certainly said in numerous interviews that I've listened to that you want to become the Nike of the mind. I love that expression, um, and I sort of get the sense of your ambitious outlook. With going physical now, and that makes huge sense. But what is the? I mean, the app is as it stands now still has huge growth potential. I can only assume, and going physical will help that growth as well, won't it?
It will. And, that one of my lessons in my career came from my previous company, Moshi Monsters, which was an online world for children. They adopted a little monster and looked after it. And we built a successful digital subscription model there with tens of millions of kids playing around the world. But the real inflection point for that business was when we took the brand offline. And we did Moshi Monsters trading cards, books, magazines, toys, clothing, a music album, a movie. Um, we had pop-up events and location-based entertainment, and it was extraordinary. And I learned the power of having two flywheels, an online and an offline, and the two drive to each other. And I think we can do something similar with Calm. It does seem a bit crazy to go from digital to physical, but I think hopefully in a few years and decades beyond, it will make perfect sense, and we won't be seen as a mental health app anymore. We'll be seen as one of the world's leading wellness companies.
Interesting. So I very much look forward to seeing you in Riyadh shortly. If you were to join us in, say, 2 years' time again, back in Saudi or indeed in Dubai, where would you like to be at that point?
So 2 years, yeah, that's an interesting time frame. We definitely will have launched a broad range of physical products, and be learning what's working and what isn't, and getting feedback from our audience. I'm not sure we'd have been able to build a branded living community by then, but I certainly hope we'd have found partners and would have begun on our first project. And yeah, would be well on the way of the journey, and with hopefully a big exciting future ahead.
Okay, good. That's great. I know you have some. You come from a very entrepreneurial family as well. I think your kids are entrepreneurs as well. Certainly, mine are. I've got four that are very entrepreneurial. So
Yeah. Do they work with you in the business?
they don't. They're far more successful. No, no. But what would you recommend to an entrepreneur today, starting out today, um, on their journey?
I think this is such an exciting time to be building a company, particularly in the age of AI. There's AI native companies can scale so quickly, and AI is transforming every industry, not least mental health and hospitality. So I think there's this shift going on, and when big shifts happen, big opportunities appear. So great time for fast moving, creative, ambitious entrepreneurs.
Excellent. I love that positivity, Michael. Well, Michael, listen, great to have this chat with you. Really interesting. I've learned tons and look forward to helping you on your journey, introducing you to my friends in the industry in Saudi and helping you to go physical. I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Really enjoyed this.
Great. Thanks, Michael.